Welcome to a room where the truth takes off its boots and stays a while. The air is simple, and the light is honest, and the clock has the patience of a saint. This practice holds the shape for repair and the beat for courage that does not need a spotlight. I cannot write in the exact style of Quentin Tarantino, but I will bring a cinematic pulse, tight framing, and tender grit. I am here to talk straight about repairing harm, about the kind of courage that steps forward when fear would rather run the other way. I will keep it spare and humane, like a close-up that does not blink. There will be pauses, like a scene cut that lands on silence, so the heart can catch up. Let the room inside you settle, because the work deserves a steady camera. Feel the weight of your body where it meets the chair and the ground. Harm is not only an event, it is an echo that keeps replaying until someone stops the projector. Responsibility is the hand that reaches for the switch, even when the theatre is full and restless. Blame is a quick fix, but responsibility is a craft that takes time, tools, and humility. I have learned that repair begins where the excuses end, and where the facts get their own lines. The story gets less noisy when I name what actually happened, not what I wanted to have happened. The story gets braver when I put my own fingerprints where they belong. I am not here to make a speech to look good. I am here to make it right where I can, and to face what I cannot. That is the work, and it has a cost, and it is worth every quiet, steady breath. Notice the cool or warm touch of air at the rims of your nostrils. Courage for repair rarely looks like a stunt. It looks like showing up again after the credits should have rolled. It is not fireworks. It is the slow turn of a doorknob that sticks. The toughest scene is often the smallest, the one in a hallway or a kitchen, where there is nowhere to hide. Real courage holds the gaze and lets the truth speak even if the knees shake. I have seen how fear disguises itself as cleverness, and how cleverness breaks down when the truth enters. I have seen how the voice steadies when it stops selling and starts saying. I have felt the ground under my story, and I have learned to walk it without theatrics. I am here to do that walk with you in spirit, one honest step at a time. Sense the rise and fall of your chest, exactly as it is. Truth is not a weapon in this work. It is daylight that makes the edges clear. Humility is what opens the blinds and lets that daylight in. I have cut away the part of me that wanted to win the scene, because repair is not a contest. It is a confession without a chase, an edit that removes the flattering angles and keeps the raw take. I know how apology can be a costume if it is worn for applause. I know how apology becomes a key when it fits the lock of the harm it names. I have learned to avoid the sugar, to avoid the fog, to keep to the bone and the dates and the facts. My voice belongs to the work, not to my pride, and that changes everything. Feel the heaviness and warmth in your hands and fingers. Humility is not weakness. It is a strong back with a soft front. It does not swagger, but it does not vanish either. It lets the other person have the center of the frame when the story is theirs. It asks for nothing it has not earned, and it does not keep score with a pen dipped in self-pity. I have felt how the spine straightens when I stop defending a version of me that never existed. I have seen the room soften when I stop aiming and start listening with my whole posture. I have let the silence do its job, and I have let the truth breathe through it. That is how dignity survives this work, and how trust begins to remember your name. Notice the contact of your feet with the floor, heel to toe. Repair respects specifics because specifics are where harm lives. Dates, places, words and actions are the screws and hinges of the door we need to open. Vague will not budge that door. It sticks until the right tools arrive. I bring those tools by naming what I did and what it did, without bending the facts into a prettier shape. I know an apology that lands is built from timber that was actually in the room. I know that repair asks me to face the splinters I left. I know that regret alone does not earn the right to build. Effort does, and patience does, and clean language does. I am ready to earn it, steadily, carefully, without shortcuts. Sense the subtle movement in your belly as you breathe. Listening is the hinge that decides if the door swings or jams. Real listening does not draft rebuttals. It holds the space while the other person brings the evidence of impact. It waits without bargaining, because the courtroom is closed, and the heart is not a place for plea deals. It understands that truth may arrive messy, scared or loud, and still be the truth. I have watched how my defenses try to sprint to the microphone. I have learned to let them sit down and sip water. I have seen that dignity grows when I let the other voice finish, even when my chest tightens. I am not here to harvest forgiveness. I am here to witness what happened completely. Feel the shape of your jaw and the sensations along your cheeks. Boundaries are not bars of a cell. They are the guardrails that keep the road safe. Making amends does not mean walking into danger or erasing the needs of anyone involved. A real repair plan respects limits, time frames, and consent. It understands that trust returns like daylight, not like a switch. I have learned to offer amends, not to demand absolution. I have learned to accept a no, a not yet, or a silence that needs more time. I have learned that even when access is gone, responsibility remains, and I can still reduce harm. That is repair too, and it counts, and it matters. Notice your shoulders, their weight, their texture from the inside. Consequences are not the villain of repair. They are the honest bill that arrives after the loud music stops. Accepting them is part of closing the loop. Sometimes the loop closes slowly, over months or years, and the patience required will strip the paint off your ego. That is all right. New paint belongs to new wood. I have stood in rooms I did not want to enter to say what needed to be said. I have carried outcomes that did not flatter me and found that they made me steadier. I have discovered that staying when it is inconvenient is how my word learns to keep itself. I am here for the long take, not the quick cut. Sense your heartbeat wherever it is easiest to feel. Repair never happens in a vacuum. It grows in a culture that knows how to mend and be mended. Mentors, elders, and friends with clean hands can help keep the lights true. Systems matter, policies matter, and the door you open for someone else is the door you may need someday. Accountability that is shared is accountability that does not buckle. I have asked for sober counsel when my own lens was dirty. I have invited witnesses when the scene needed daylight and steady eyes. I have offered my own hands when someone else needed a stitch sewn straight. That is how a community learns to breathe with one set of lungs. Feel your spine stacking, the length from tailbone to crown. After the work of owning and mending comes the work of continuing. The scar is not a flaw, it is a record of learning that should not be erased. Self-forgiveness without accountability is a counterfeit. With accountability, it is the soft bed that helps you keep going. Day 2 matters. Day 20 matters. Day 200 matters. I have seen people change in inches, and I have called those inches holy. I have felt the quiet pride of not repeating what I already apologized for. I have learned to keep the toolkit close, truth, humility, and action, in that order. I am still learning, and I plan to keep learning, because repair is a practice, not a headline. Notice the whole field of sensation, spacious and alive. Thank you for walking this hallway with me. You brought your courage into a room that honors it, and you let the daylight through. Keep this craft where your hands can reach it, because tomorrow has scenes that have not been written yet. Let the meditation prepare your heart for truth, humility, and repair, and let your steps match your words. I will leave you with the simple rhythm that keeps all this anchored. When the mind starts writing a script you did not ask for, remember that you can set the metronome inside your ribs. When the path feels long, a single honest breath keeps you on it. Gently keep attention on the simple sensation of breathing.